Hello, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 255, and Doubleshot number 187. Two Marvel books. Okay. First up, Black Widow, Volume One, the thinly woven thread, written by Nathaniel Emerson and artwork by Phil Nato. This book collects the first 6 issues of Black Widow Volume 5. Yeah, she had a few other volumes. She had like 3 miniseries. I think the first one was like 3 issues, second one was like 4, and I believe the third one was also 4 as well. 4, which came out in 2010, that was lasted like 8 issues. This was like 20, and the current volume is so far about 3 issues in. Now this one, this is actually pretty good. Let me show you some sample artwork. There's a couple villains in this particular arc. One, they're in here. One is a guy who calls himself the Hand of God. Let's see if I can find him here. There's actually 2 villains here. One is called the Hand of God. He's an assassin who's, get this, his job is to take out assassinate ambassadors. Yeah, here he is on the cover of issue number 4. Yeah, that's kind of what the Hand of God looks like. Yeah, he's this big, bulky guy. Yeah, this issue is his first appearance. Let's see if I can find him in here. The artwork is picked in here. Let's see here. Yeah, Maria Hill is a good chunk of these issues. Want proof? There you go. That's Maria Hill under Phil Nato's artwork. Yeah, the artwork is very... How should I put this? It feels like a very painted style in a way, but more of a whitish style, whitish paint. Here's him fully. This is the character known as Hand of God. He's an assassin who assassinates ambassadors. He's one of 2 villains to show up in here. The other one is who he's actually a henchman for an old Black Widow archer. Let's see. He shows up at the end of issue 5. Let's see here. Yeah, and I know there's a cameo appearance by Hawkeye in here. I'll show that as well. This guy here, this is Damian Durant. This is, let's see, that's okay. Damon Durant. He's an old Black Widow villain who made his debut back in Daredevil number 81 back in the 70s. Yeah, this guy is a Black Widow villain, old one of that. And the guy dies in the following. The guy only in here for about 3 issues. He dies in issue 6. As a result of complications from whatever thing he was infected with. Now, the one thing I should note is that this series was going at the same time as Hawkeye. So, because the fact that Hawkeye once slept, well, not slept. Because the fact he dated Black Widow, yeah, let's have him make a cameo appearance. There he is, Hawkeye, wearing his shirt that he wears in his own solo book. So you can kind of say that, yeah, this kind of takes place between one of his issues that he does. And this guy here who's with Natasha, his name is Isaiah. Get this. He's Natasha's lawyer. I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, you gotta love this cover. This cover is so freaking good. The covers are fantastic. The artwork is fantastic. The story is very espionage type stuff. And Emerson, despite the fact this is something that maybe Brubaker could do too, but Emerson does a great job with the character. It's just too bad that his last series, which was not this. That's why I meant the 20 issues, along with Punisher. He also did Deathlock, with that lasted 10 issues. Here is the thing about his most recent series, Red Wolf. Great series, canned after 6 issues. I don't know why. And that was like, what, the 4th series in a row that was the 4th series Marvel gave in the past few years? Yeah. And all 4 of his series have been awesome. And yeah, I keep wondering though, why does Marvel keep canning a series after a quick period of time? Like, this gets canned at 20 issues, this ends at 20 issues, Punisher ends at 20 issues, Deathlock ends after 10, and Red Wolf ends after 6. Yes, I know he did Grifter as well. but that was an okay series. I think he actually works better when he's working on Marvel characters. I give this book a 9 out of 10. This book is awesome. If you're a fan of spy stuff, and if you're interested in getting some comic books, Black Widow is something I recommend. Especially if you like Scarlett Johansson and how she is in the movies. Now, one thing I should also note is that she is not drawn like Scarlett Johansson. No, she is not. She is drawn like she normally is. The only time they actually draw like Scarlett Johansson was in the cover of the first issue of Secret Avengers Volume 2, Number 1. That's the only time she's ever been depicted as a movie counterpart. Alright? Moving on to Captain America, Sam Wilson, Volume 1. Not my Captain America. This book collects the first 6 issues of this particular series. Now, it's written by Nick Spencer, and there are 3 different artists on here. You have Daniel Kuna, Mike Chow, let's see if I get this, yeah. Mike Chow, Paul Rudo, Romano, I'm trying to pronounce this correct, Romano Fajardo, and Joe Bennett. Daniel Kuna only does the first 3 issues, and Mike Kuna co-does issue 3 with him. Paul Rudin does issues 4 through 5, and Joe Bennett does issue 6. Now, one thing I should note about this particular run, in this particular story alone, it plants the seeds for the crossover, which wrapped up a couple months ago, Avengers Standoff. Yeah, if you're wondering where a lot of stuff of the thing came from, you gotta read the series. And according to Nick Spencer in an article, his run for this particular series, it's a love song to the late Mark Guggenheim. Mark Guggenheim's run. One way you can know about this? Well, there's a couple ways. Well, one is having D-Man show up. Yeah, I'm thinking though, D-Man, what the heck is he doing here? I thought he was dead. Yeah, last time I saw him, he got killed by Sharon Carter toward the end of Brubaker's run. Let's see here. Oh. Here's another way to know that this is a nod to Guggenheim's run. Capwolf! Capwolf. I love Misty's line. Misty Knight. She's a supported character here. Yeah, he says, No, I got it. It's just hope and pray, but I never really think it's gonna happen. Capwolf is back. If you ever find those issues, I think it was like 402 to about 406, it is a weird set of issues where Captain America is turned to a werewolf. I think it's collected in trade. Yeah, it's a Capwolf story. But you also see this guy called Carl Mudez, I think his name is. Yeah, he's a scientist who I think is from Brubaker's run. I'm not really sure. That's him right there. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to point out the page basically that how this is a nod to. Let's see. I think it's issue 4. Excuse me. Oh, I should also know. Diamondback's in here, and her boyfriend, who's the Constrictor, he dies. Apparently he'd been ill for some time, so Nick Spencer's like, okay, let's just kill him off. Now, this is one way to know. Yeah, this is one way I knew for a fact that he was taking notes. That he was This is basically homaging his run. Here is a full page of the entire Serpent Society in one page. This is the first time in years this has happened. I mean, yeah, some of them show up for like on and off again, but this is the first time that the full roster of the Serpent Society actually shows up. Sorry about the glare. It's just, well, yeah, it's great to see the entire Serpent Society. And plus, at the end of this thing, of course, Sam goes back to normal toward the very end, but he gets a new sidekick, Falcon. Which when I saw this originally, I thought this was like I think this suit is supposed to be a nod to Sam Wilson's original outfit when he was Falcon. Yeah, he had green before he was red and white. He was green and white before, but yeah. But this is just really good. I like the fact that Nick Spencer kept the same tone that Rick Remender did from the all-new Captain America series, where there are people in the public who don't like the fact Sam Wilson is Captain America. So that's the reason why it says not my Captain America, because they're referring to Steve Rogers. They think of him as Captain America. So he keeps that tone from that previous book, and plus they do wrap up. They do ceremoniously just conclude something that Rick Remender started at the end of his run with the whole thing with Hydra infiltrating all these other government agencies, including S.H.I.E.L.D., and apparently Maria Hill was written to be a complete dick. Yeah, I think Nick Spencer is not a fan of Maria Hill. That's probably the reason whenever she shows up in other books, especially when Bendis writes her to be completely likable. While in here, Spencer writes her to be a complete dick to people. And that's why she normally is. Heck, not even Nick Fury, and I've read a lot of Nick Fury stuff, not even he was as much of a dick to people like Maria Hill is. Yeah. And this is great, and I love the supporting cast. I mean, besides Missing 9D Man, you got the new Falcon. But the Falcon stopped showing up after standoff for some reason. Yeah, he doesn't show up during standoff at all. It's completely mystery. And the Whisperer, yeah, it's revealed in standoff who he is. But I do like the fact that during these particular 6 issues, that he does plant the seeds for standoff. So before you read standoff, read these 6 issues to kind of understand some of the stuff, because they reference the stuff that happens in here a lot. Like they reference with the Cosmic Cube thing got leaked by Whisperer, which they reveal who it is in standoff. Which I have got a hand of Nick Spencer for doing that. Now, this is still good. Now, people were asking him to come off the book because they didn't like his political stuff that he's putting in here. Yeah, some people were asking Marvel to fire him after the first issue came out. I mean, that's not as bad as the reception he got when the first issue of Captain America Steve Rogers came out. I'll talk about that in a minute, but this is good. 9 out of 10. Before I close out, I should say this, that some people might not know this, but Nick Spencer, after that first issue of Captain America Steve Rogers came out, Nick Spencer was receiving death threats. Now, I may not like what he did to Captain America at the end of the issue, him saying "Hail Hydra," but I'm not going to send the man death threats. And I heard something that Brubaker was receiving death threats as well. And Brubaker has no idea what's going on because he hadn't written the comic in 4 years. So there's no reason to send him death threats. And also there's no reason to send Nick Spencer death threats as well. I mean, he received death threats for the first issue of Captain America Sam Wilson, but yet they sent him death threats because what Steve Rogers said. Now, I have a theory of what caused him to say that. If you notice in the issue, if those who read the issue, there's this woman who kind of introduces Sarah Rogers and Steve to Hydra. I have a theory that woman is a time traveler. Why? Because I think that her being there is retconning stuff that happened in Steve Rogers' past. Now, yes, it has been clearly established that Steve Rogers' father was an alcoholic and a wife beater. Yes, he was abusive. Captain America grew up in a domestic environment. Fine. That's one thing that some people the fact that Nick Spencer didn't change. That's one thing unusual about Captain America's character. He does come from a tragic background, a domestic background, a very bad one at that. But I have a theory that woman who was introducing Sarah and Steve to Hydra, I have a theory that is Sin, Red Skull's daughter, who time traveled from the future to get Steve Rogers to join Hydra in order to get Steve Rogers to stop hunting her father in the present day. That's my theory. You can completely disagree with me about that altogether, but I think having the idea of Captain America being a Hydra agent is a completely dumb idea. Now, there was this image put on Facebook, I shared it, of when Cap was saying how Hydra, he got slapped in the face. Now in the picture, he gets slapped in the face by the late Jack Kirby, and he says no. Now, if Jack Kirby was alive now, even though it has been at least like 22 years since he died, if he saw that, if he was still alive this very day, he would be upset with Marvel for doing that. He would probably march into the Marvel offices, and he would probably slap the editor across the face for disrespecting his character he helped create, him and the late Joe Simon created. Stan Lee also worked on him as well, so I have to clue Stan Lee up there as well. But basically, I kind of agree with some people on this, that this does disrespect almost every single writer who's ever written Captain America prior to this, but I don't blame Nick Spencer for this. I blame whoever in the editors, out of all the editors. Somebody thought this was a good idea, and somehow Axel Alonso approved of it. I don't know why they approve of this nonsense, but I think it's just a gimmick. I don't think this is going to last too long, and maybe this is going to reverse by this story gets over because of all the humongous negative backlash that this issue has received. I'm still reading the book, despite only one issue has come out so far of it. I'm not going to stop reading it. The only reason why I am going to still read it is I'm a huge Captain America fan. I love the character. I didn't like the fact. Now, I honestly, as a Captain America fan, I didn't like the ending of Captain America Steve Rogers. But I'm going to still read it. Alright? That book, I know it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but I like everything about the book up until that last page. If in fact that Cap had not said that, it would have been a good issue. Because the issue was really good throughout most of it. I mean, it was nice to see Jack Flagon. I mean, I haven't seen him in 6 years. As for Free Spirit, now somebody, no one's seen Jack Flagon since the 90s. That is completely untrue. He has been seen since the 90s. As a matter of fact, he has shown up in the books like Thunderbolts, Guardians of the Galaxy, when Dan Abbott and Andy Lang were writing the character. When they brought him when he was in space. And he was last seen prior to this in the miniseries known as the Thanos Imperative. That was the last time he was seen. Now, the reason why he went to space was because after the events of Civil War, he was a wanted man because he didn't register with the government. A lot of people didn't like that story anyways. I thought the story was pretty decent when it told for it. But I don't believe Jack Flag died when he got thrown out of that plane. I think he probably did survive because I'm sure he probably had some gadget, probably had something to help him basically survive his long fall. But I still think this is a bad idea. I mean, it's not as crazy or bad. It's not a crazy idea like the Punisher turning to a Frankenstein monster, or Tony Stark turning dark, or switching out Thor with Jane Foster. Those were actually pretty interesting ideas, probably because the book needed sales boost, or bringing the original 5 X-Men to the present. Books are still good. But Captain America Steve Rogers is only one issue in. And I'm going to give the book a chance. I'm sure a lot of people will probably who have bought the issue and read the ending, they'll probably burn the comic. Or probably tore it up. I don't know. But if I had bought that comic, I read online. If I bought the comic, I wouldn't have burned it or tore it up. I would just put it away. Maybe reread it later, but I wouldn't tear it up or burn it or just send the writer death threats. I'm not a person who would send death threats to people. Okay? Nick Spencer does not need he does not deserve all the death threats he's getting right now. But that's just my opinion. You can disagree with me if you want to. But that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode 256 and Doubleshot number 188. Until then, see you there. Bye.